knocking shit over, so I cannot fix it.
I'm just trying to make sure you're good over there.
I am not good.
You're getting mad at me for trying to frame you up. If I was misframed, I would love for you to.
Who's
to
misframed? Yeah.
Is this how we're starting the show?
You ruminate on that
one. God, I
want to sit there and marinate.
Hit me in the head with a brick. Oh my goodness. Today we're going to be talking about Bills versus Dolphins, by the way, and then of course the hack bag. We got a couple of voicemails.
Excited for it. I'm sick of you encroaching on my desk. I'm just going to state that. I'm sick and tired of your stuff being on my desk.
It's a work area that sometimes I've had to move things over and occasionally lay stuff on top of the side desk that you have.
The mic arm, acceptable. That's a trade-off I'll give because my mic arm is on your desk. That's an acceptable trade-off.
That was what my whole argument was, is you're giving me crap for like occasionally leaving my keys on there when you're not in here.
You don't have pockets?
I'm not sitting with my keys in my pockets.
Oh, so you just put them on my shit.
That's like sitting around with wet jeans on. Like, why would I want to sit with stuff stuffed in my pockets?
Why does it have to reside on my desk instead of your mammoth desk?
I had a bunch of stuff on the desk. I just needed to briefly move it, and then you walked in here when it had been there for like 20 minutes.
I've come into this room multiple times and seen an assortment of things on my desk. On my postage stamp of a desk.
There is an occasional thing that has been placed onto the desk. Look, if that's the energy that we're coming in here with, then take your mic arm off of my desk.
No. I said you could swing your mic arm over onto my desk, and that's the trade-off.
No, that was also something else you put a huge
been on my desk.
You put up,
and then I forgot that my mic arm was on your desk. I did forget that.
You put up an insane fight with me over my mic arm just being tilted in the direction of your desk. That was probably the most insane.
It just feels a little ballsy. It feels like
it's a work area that we have set up here. Sometimes things get moved.
It's a work area that you have set up and you have manufactured and gotten your little finchers on and your little needle fingers and pointing and pushing.
Well, I paid extra money for this. I'm not doing this, but I'm saying that all I'm saying is that I tried to get this work area so that we had space for it. It's a collaborative area.
Okay, I'm going to start collaborating at that desk then. I'll start doing
If you have to move stuff and it ends up over here, I don't care. If you're doing it to be a dick, which that is clearly you doing it to be a dick.
I just need somewhere to put my water.
No, because there's room on your desk.
No, I don't think there. That's where you're going.
We have actual football to talk about. We're going to hit the break, folks, and we're going to be right back. We're going to be reacting to what was a very strange, very, very strange Thursday night football game for a myriad of reasons, especially to a concussion situation and what's getting under talked about because of how hyper-focused we are on player safety this morning in the reactions. No one's talking about the Bills. And of course, it takes a game like this for nobody to be giving the Bills the love that they deserve. That coming up after we hit the break.
And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for like probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say it,
give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson, 2 former college football players from the University of Rhode Island today. Thursday night football reaction, as well as college football and NFL mailbag. The hack bag. We got some voicemails. Sean, where can people share voicemails?
God, you're putting me on the spot here. I got
the number memorized.
I got the read up. 201-834-4308. Joe is yelling at the first 3 numbers. 201-834-4308.
Thank you, Sean. Last night, your boy has his juice back, his betting juice back.
You got your swagger back?
I went 2-0 yesterday. Arizona State covered where I needed them to. They finished, so I'm 1 for 1 on show bets and also for just in real life bets. And I also hit Bills. I bet on the Bills to cover plus 1.5, and that. I mean,
that's why you're all up on the Bills today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, going into the game, I was astounded by the amount of people that were picking the Dolphins with the disparity between how the Bills perform against the Dolphins and how the Dolphins perform against the Bills. It is so lopsided. It is Patriots level AFC East domination that we're seeing. So I was willing to do that. And guess where I placed the bet, Sean?
I would guess you put it on Bet Online. I was going to pull the room for any winners.
Actually, I went down in the corner. There was a guy that was dishing out bets. No, I went out to Bet Online.
I was going to ask if anybody had any winners because I was also a winner on the Bills last night.
Oh!
All these dope like in Miami, they get punked by the Bills. And you know where I'm placing my bets? It's Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform. Your number one source for everything football. Bet Online has every stat. Like, the Bills are going to win every matchup, Bills, Dolphins, and even live odds. Hey, bet on the Bills and spreads to bet on during the game. Think you know your stuff? Get it on their $200,000 mega contest to pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. If we sound annoying, it's because we haven't hit a bet in a while. Regardless, head to the website today and get in on the action. Bet Online, the game starts here.
Thank you, Sean. So, last night we watched the Miami Dolphins get dismantled by the Buffalo Bills. Conversations about the Bills that we're going to have in a second have gotten swept under the rug a little bit because of the reactivated discussion about player safety and what happened with Tua. They're down, it's 4th and goal, or they're in the red area. He's trying to convert. He scrambles upfield, and instead of sliding, he leads with his head. He makes contact with Damar Hamlin's chest of all people, which is really weird cosmic irony for it to have played out that way. And he goes down in that same scary position where he can't control his limbs, and he was removed from the game. The game was over at that point and was definitely over after he stepped out. I think one thing, and I almost don't even really feel like talking about this, but with the amount of overreaction to it, I feel like a discussion is warranted with 2 former college football players to talk about. A lot of people are saying that Tua should be forced to retire and that he should not be playing, that the NFL and the Dolphins need to step in and that they can't let this guy go back out there. I think that there's only one right answer to this, and I was listening to First Take this morning, and Ryan Clark had that right answer. Being a guy who played in the NFL for a long time, and who said that he suffered more concussions than Tua did at this point to where Tua's been in his career. That right answer was, it's Tua's decision. If you're his family and if you're Tua, you absolutely should be considering stepping away from football. 1,000%. This is a scary situation that it should be considered. But that decision shouldn't be taken out of his hands. He should go and meet with doctors. He should go and meet with neurologists. The Dolphins should provide him with all of the support in order to figure out the severity of his mental situation, which I understand is hard to evaluate. But as Ryan Clark was saying this morning, it's not up to anybody else to make that decision. There have been far worse and far more significant historical situations of guys that played positions that took a lot more contact in an era where the helmets were just pieces of plastic, basically buckets on these guys' heads.
Bucket, yeah.
Guys that were really seriously destroying their brains, and there was no concussion protocol. Joe Namath's a great example of somebody who talks about the amount of times that he just got right back up and went back into games. And he's not exactly in the best state. And I was listening to some clips of him on actually Howard Stern's show talking about his recovery and making sure that his brain is good. But outside of that, it's up to him in this modern era where quarterbacks are more protected than they've ever been. And he continues to have really bad luck with his head contact, and it's only going to get worse because the more concussions that you have, the increased severity and the increased ease of getting them. But it is Tua's decision. I really hate how oftentimes media folks and people in general, it's always meltdown, meltdown, meltdown. This is the end of the world. This is so terrible. This is so horrible. It's bad for the game. It's a bad look. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. It's something that you and I signed up for. You more than me being an offensive lineman that probably took tons of head contact that is repeated culmination of those incidents of trauma. But it's football. It is up to Tua to make this decision. Stop acting like that this is some serious political issue that requires intervention from some outside entity to make the decision for him.
I don't like when people, I don't like the reaction that people are basically at this point begging to see a a player retire because they want to protect the concussions and they want to take the hitting out of the game. It's a barbaric game. It's a game for gladiators. It is a sport with collisions. It is a sport where if you get hit in the head, it also impacts you differently. CTE impacts every individual differently. That's why we're still learning about it. That's why every person has different measures that they need to take. You can see a 70-year-old lineman speaking as fluently and as nice as cogently as he can, and you can see a 50-year-old wide receiver that didn't get hit as much, and maybe he's having a rougher time. It affects everyone differently. I don't like the wash women coming in, and this is not just, and dudes could be wash women, and there are many of them in this case that are just coming in and begging for the game to get safer. I want it to get safer. Everyone wants the game to be as safe as it can, but it needs to be safe within the game itself. You cannot keep changing the game, and then it just doesn't become football anymore. It is ridiculous. And what did you said we signed up for something. You ripped your freaking pec off your chest, and I got a cartilage defect in my arm, and that's something that if you said, all right, you're going to play 4 years of college football at the end of this is what's going to happen to you, I'd say I'm still signing the paper saying deal. It's fine. My elbow will it's probably not going to be as great as it ever is. Not going to get that full extension. You'll probably not going to be able to get 275 on the bench again. These are just the trade-offs that you have of playing the gladiator sport. That's what it is. And the gladiator makes the decision on if he wants to go in the arena. We've had players quit mid-game. We've had players quit whenever they want to quit. It's still up to them. And sometimes they get criticized for quitting when they do.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck made a decision. He got lambasted. It was a bad decision at the wrong time. Sua Cravens got crushed for when he quit in Washington. But he still made the decision. And there wasn't a bunch of cheering for it. There wasn't people celebrating it as, oh, he was at his prime. We didn't get to see what he did. Pick a side. And also, fans don't get to choose. You don't get to. You're not allowed.
No. Well, but that's the whole thing. Fans don't get to choose to have an opinion on this. That's my whole point. The decision is on the bearer of the risk. It is, and it's to what you said. The people that didn't play this sport, maybe they played a little bit in high school. I think those that did play in high school do have at least somewhat of an appreciation. Those that played in college and beyond absolutely do have an appreciation for this situation and what we're talking about here, going through getting hit every single day. If you don't understand the context of it, why are you trying to decide for said player? It is under their volition to put themselves through it. It 100% is. And I know that this is why those that haven't played, and you can tell, they're fear-mongers.
Yes.
Their reaction to it is fear-mongering to pitch this. This is violent. This is horrible. This is just such a terrible, bad thing. The sport exists. It exists, and it is an entertainment product that we're all tuned into. But more importantly, these players love playing it because it is an outlet for them to express their abilities and traits and skills and mental capabilities that is their strong suit. Tua keeps coming back. Tua's not showing up after those concussions that he had 2 years ago because he wanted the money. He showed up because he loved the damn game.
Yeah, he's a competitor. It's the sport for the ultimate competitor. And to try to just keep on watering it down to the mediocre competitor, this discourse is what has kind of become wrong with sports media surrounding football, where it's just the nerds making the decisions for the jocks. But what do? You don't go out to watch the nerds play the sport. You go out to watch the big, strong men that can jump 40 inches in the air. I want to get to Jamie's question. Did either of you have concussions in your playing days? What kind of impacts did you have? Yeah, I had a good amount. I had a couple times I got clubbed in the side of the head. Janetti he was taped up on his wrist, and he swung around and did like a spinning back fist, and I had the Modern Warfare 2 flash grenade sound, and I was seeing in black and white for a couple seconds, and then I got back to the line. And yeah, sometimes at night the lights are a little sensitive. And every player has the option to report a concussion. I've seen plenty of guys that say, hey, you know what, I'm not feeling right. Get me off, or get me off the field, not get me off. I haven't had any necessary impacts, I'd say, to the current day. I think my memory is still sharp. I may have impeded it with some other stuff over the years, but for the most part, I think the concussions have held up. My granddad played college football. My dad played college football. They're both very sharp, so I might just be in the lucky group where you could still have conversations in your mid-80s, and you could still be a successful person in your late 50s. And I'm holding up okay. But I know some people were just like, I'm not doing this. My head hurts all the time, and I'm not going to play anymore.
I less in college because I definitely got hit in the head a number of times in college running out on punt, like got some big pops, but like nothing that I had to like really come out for. There was one play against JMU of all teams where I remember one of the types of punt returners that I hated going up against the most, or guys on punt return I hated the most, were the offset linebackers that would stand like 4 yards off the ball that would run full speed at me and then didn't try to block me after. They would just run full speed at me to try to like really just pop me and see if there was an intent there. It's like, can we possibly get this guy off kilter for the rest of the game?
Get a bad snap out of him if we really light him up.
Yeah, and JMU, there was this one in particular play where I remember I got whacked. Like he just like full head on head. There was no punch and drive. It was like a full head on, and that was the last play of the game. I felt like shit after that. The Merrimack game, I had a couple times where I got dropped on the ground, like I just got slammed in the ground and landed on my head. High school, I had 2 reported ones though, so like I've been hit in the head quite a bit, not as much as you probably, but it is to understand what it does to you. Yeah, there's plenty of times where like I'm extremely forgetful, and I do sometimes wonder myself, is this from getting those concussions, or is it just because it's my personality? I hope it's not something that deteriorates. It's frightening. It certainly is frightening when you realize that you can be extremely forgetful and your lack of ability to maintain your attention span has deteriorated since it was when you were younger.
The cold truth of it, though,
we signed up for it.
Yeah, the cold truth of it is that football players will continue to not report concussions because they don't want to get off the field, because they don't want to lose their roster spot. They will continue to do that.
And also, too, I think a lot of times you don't know if you have one. Like sometimes you just get your head hurts and you're just like, I got hit in the head. Like it's fine. Like I can keep scope of what's happening in front of me. I'm not coming off this field. Like,
we both grew up like you got your bell rung, or if you're, even in youth football. Okay, did you just get your bell rung, or let's break out the flashlight, see what's going on with the eyes, and see if you're really loopy and out of it. If you're really loopy and out of it, definite concussion, bell rung. That comes with the sport of football.
All right, I want to spend a little more time talking positively about the Bills and not wasting our energy with this overreaction to Tua's situation. Actually, wait, we need a final thought here with Tua. If I was him, like in all seriousness, if I was him, I think he should probably step away. Like I think that with the scaring, this isn't me telling him to do this and that it needs to be enforced upon him to do it. But if I was sitting in his situation, someone showed me that clip and sitting and looking at, I don't know if he has a girlfriend or a wife, looking at the potential of like how this is going to impact me down the road, I think it would be worth considering him stepping away.
I always get a little bit. The only time I get real skittish is when I see the arms go limp or stiff.
That's where it got frightening.
That's the one that does scare me when I see it on the football field. And I got a pretty high tolerance for the hits. We've seen people break their arms, break their legs. Like we've seen it, but that one always freaks me out. I think that if his head feels fine, then he can come back if he wants to. I think he should. He's a good quarterback. He can help the Dolphins. In my opinion, I don't think it's necessarily walk away time yet.
Well, that's also what's
it's just a bad decision on the football field to lead with his head. Right. And all we heard about was his training, and he was doing it was either taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, where he would land softer. And we saw examples of it last season where he was rolling softer and he was being more cognizant of protecting his head, but he made a bonehead decision to extend with the head, and he rammed right into an NFL player's torso. It's going to end well. It's going to end poorly if you do that. And we're going to see rookie quarterbacks this year. We're going to see a rookie quarterback this year dive with their head, and they're going to get knocked out of a game. And it's the growing pains of football. And he made a bad decision. And if he wants to just chalk it up as that's a bad decision, I got to be smarter about it, then fine, come on back.
His volume of head injuries too is actually not that high compared to some other guys that they've dealt with, and some have stepped away around that that amount that he's reached. So we'll see what he ends up deciding to do. I think the Dolphins should be aggressive. I know it's week 2, but they need to be aggressive in trying to trade for somebody.
Do they want Kirk?
Not knowing. Well, who the first guy that came to mind was? I don't know what JJ McCarthy's recovery timetable is or the Vikings' desire to be competitive right now. I would go get Sam Darnold. Man, Sam Darnold looked great in that game because who else comes to mind? Jameis Winston's not going to get given up because I'm sure that they're monitoring the current situation with Deshaun Watson, that he might be on the commissioner's exempt list if things pan out the way that the opposing lawyers are portraying the severity of the situation and the evidence that they have. So Jameis isn't gone. Like, who else would be?
I'd pay Indianapolis $10 million right now for Joe Flacco. I'd pay $10 million for Joe Flacco. I'd pay $10 million
That's
if I'm
a bit
Miami.
much, but
I'd pay $10 million for compared to Skylar Thompson. I'd pay for Tyrod.
Wait, but I would say the Colts aren't going to do that though, because I mean, you looked at how quickly Anthony Richardson went down with an injury last year. That's why they brought Joe Flacco in. Is like, hey, we need somebody who is a good starter, that if we need to call on him, he can be, capable.
The Seahawks reamped with Sam Howell. I would.
That's a good one.
I would take a flyer out on it. I'd take a flyer out on Joe Milton for that team and how much they want to throw
rookie
deep.
Quarterback. You're trying to go to the playoffs. You're not going to get a rookie quarterback.
Would you rather have Joe Milton or Skylar Thompson in that offense?
Skylar Thompson, because Skylar Thompson's been in the dude.
I'd say we're a go ball team, and this is Joe Milton. I don't need.
You can't run anything else then.
I think he could throw to Devin Achan in the slot or in the flat.
Wait, not a bad option. Jacoby Brissett. Actually, that's within the division, the rivals. Never mind. Forget it. That was a stupid pitch.
Jamie's pitching Trey Lance.
I mean, the Fitz-McDaniels
that's fine.
scheme.
I want to see Trey Lance get a legit shot. I kind of do.
I don't hate Trey Lance, actually, Jamie. I actually kind of like that one. I think that's I know people might poo-poo that, but he's not going to start anytime soon for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I would take a flyer out on every capable backup quarterback if I'm Miami.
All right, to hype up the Bills, though, for the first 3 quarters before everyone immediately shifted their focus to the Dolphins, justifiably. Dude, they were laying it down on Miami, dude. The way that they played at the beginning of this game and in the first half was unbelievable. And we even have a comment here from Lance Mansfield. Can we talk about how McDermott continues to turn undrafted players and late round backups into very good ones? Shout out to Cam Lewis, Jamarcus Ingram, Balen Spector, DeMar Hamlin. Christian Benford's the biggest example. I did a mock draft at the beginning of the season, and I thought they need to get an upgrade over Christian Benford. Benford's looked great. He's been phenomenal. He played great in this game. He has been a guy that has been impossible to separate away from. I just think that this is true comeuppance for everybody this whole offseason. I think you even were one of these people that were saying, the Bills.
You got to be careful.
The Bills, they lost all these receivers and all these veterans. What's going to happen? Is this going to be a reset year? No, they are playing so good in their secondary. They turned over to a ton, created a huge amount of confusing opportunities for him to throw those interceptions. Those weren't just standard picks, man. Those were really good coverage interceptions that they pulled out. And on top of that, their offense, they shifted the focus. Instead of being, hey, we just need to get the ball to Stephon Diggs so he doesn't have a meltdown every single game, we can spread it around and work with the guys that fit in certain game plans. And James Cook played his ass off.
He had a great night.
I'm picking the Bills to win the AFC East, and that I don't think anyone thinks it's a hot take, but I'm sticking with that.
Cock Michaels Esquire was happy to have James Cook on his team.
Is that the name of your fantasy team?
Yeah. It was. It's great. I had a great night last night watching James Cook run all over him. And Miami's soft. We know Miami is a soft team. I didn't think they were going to be this soft in September. We normally wait for them to go cold when it gets cold. But Buffalo did not look phased. I thought that Josh Allen's ball distribution was great. It was a healthier mix between the tight ends. And then Khalil Shakir was good. People are questioning what's going on with Keon Coleman and his chemistry with Josh Allen. That maybe that gets hashed out or fleshed out later in the season. But if you have a good thing going, just let Josh Allen make the right decisions. Yeah. I loved what I saw from the Bills D-line last night. Miami doesn't have a trash O-line, but Ed Oliver was taking over, which I like. I was waiting to see a game where Ed Oliver made a huge impact play and took over, and he did. He was huge in this game. I mean, Buffalo just bullied these guys. It was impressive. And what McDermott was doing feels a little bit what McVay has done with his defenses in Los Angeles, where, okay, we're going to bring in a star, and then we're going to have Christian Roseboom and Troy Reader, 2 FCS guys, had manning the defense.
Two of the stiffest dudes that you've ever seen.
For 5 years, they've been manning that defense, and they're going to keep.
You don't have to pay them anything. That's the crazy part. That's the whole concept here.
But they're finding value, and they're obviously it's a testament to the coaching in the building to get these guys, because anybody that's in the NFL has the talent to play there. The scouts and it's so looked over. It's judiciously looked over, every single aspect of each player, and to develop and improve in the NFL. It's good coaching from that Bills staff. It's good coaching for the Rams staff. Any team that you see that isn't just star nabbing and isn't just a basement team and is actually producing good players to fit their roles. It's good assistant coaches and position group coaches.
This is a good comment here by Jamie, playing too high cover 2 to make sure 10 and 17 didn't get behind the defense. It's always astounding when you watch Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane all pop off with so much room to run, and they're creating space for themselves. That's what they are. And then that's what this offense is predicated on, is let's get the ball to these guys in short areas in space to allow them to create after the catch. It is why McDaniel was hired from the 49ers and what they used to do and still do so successfully, and why McDaniel has ratcheted it up to an even more successful level here with the Dolphins. Whenever a team shuts them down, and it's why whenever they do get shut down, they're completely removed offensively from a game, and it's been complete, immovable, inept offenses. It's because they play this way, where they're playing back. You create a couple of turnover-worthy opportunities. You get a couple of sacks. You get in your quarterback, in the opposing quarterback's face. You get into his face. It's just really, really great coverage approach to go that way. And I think it's something that's not talked about enough, where it feels like if you scheme it properly, Miami is easy to shut down.
Yeah, it also takes good linebacker play, and their linebackers played really well without Matt Milano, who is an NFL star linebacker.
Had some Clemson guy in there that was playing that I've never heard of in my life. Wait, let me look this up.
No, the Bills have the Dolphins number, and if you're a Dolphins fan, it's just, and every NFL fan has a team where you just know that they have your number, where you're not going to get by them. You were talking about the Skins and the Giants, and Giants fans feel like they can never get by Washington. It's the same way inversely. Atlanta, it feels like we can never beat Philly, and that's not just because we're playing Philly, but because I've seen the Philly games. Every team has that bugaboo team that they can't get by. In Miami, it's in the division, and that is tough. You have to play tougher against Buffalo, because Buffalo now is coming with a different attitude from star-powered offense to, we have to be a cohesive, balanced offense.
I will forever bet on the Bills in these matchups. I 1,000% am going to do that.
Oh, thanks, Samuel. Cowboys cannot get past Niners and Packers. True, they can't.
That's another good example.
The Cowboys should have whooped the Packers last year, but I bet on the Packers in that playoff game because I know they cannot get past them. They get the yips. They get weird when they play San Francisco. They play outside of themselves instead of just remaining as the Cowboys. They choke a little bit facing these teams.
All right, let's get to the hack bag. Folks, reminder, every Friday, except some Fridays. Next Friday, we're not going to be live on Friday, sadly, because Sean and I each are taking separate trips. But every Friday, we do the hack bag, where we take college football, NFL, or just any silly, stupid question that you want to send us. We answer almost every single question, as long as it's not vilely inappropriate, which of course we got plenty of those this week.
Yeah.
You can also send us now a voicemail, where we will play the voicemail on the show and we will react to it. Sean, what's the phone number one more time?
201-834-4308. One more time for the people in the back, 201-834-4308.
This is the hack bag.
The mail never stops.
This is the hack bag. Hit us on Twitter for questions or call at 201-834-4308.
Who is that? Who do you think?
Stepping on the production.
Sorry, that was awesome. I love that. All right, let's get to the first voicemail, and then we're going to get into the written questions. First voicemail.
Just wanted to call and state Sean eats sausage the way Ron pulls the podcast. Yeah, you know who you are. Hack City. It's going to be Hawk City here pretty soon.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Wait. By the way, have you seen the clips for that Hawk Tua podcast?
I won't watch it. I've seen clips pop up, and out of sheer anger, I will not click it.
I saw someone, it was really funny. They left a 1-star review on a bar because they were like, they wouldn't put the Talk Tua podcast on. I keep thinking Talk Tua is like Tua's podcast, and then I keep remembering what it is. I kid you not. The only clip that I've seen was her and a guest that I've never seen before. Maybe it's her co-star or whatever, co-host. Actually, it's a co-star because they're not hosts. And they spent 5 minutes going over how to say Tua at the end of the Hawk Tua thing. It was just repeated. No, you got to emphasis on the H. Is that really what they have for conversation points that they can't talk about anything else?
I can't. That hurts me. That
There's
genuinely hurts me.
no personality in that show. There's none.
That's awful. And also, additionally, for voicemails, we'd love for you to leave your name, where you're from, just so we know who's calling.
Yeah,
in.
have fun with it. You can say that
Please.
you're from a weird location. What was the first part of that he said? I couldn't hear
Sean
him.
eats sausage like Ron roots for the Cats. I think he's given the way that I've eaten my sausage. I almost got another one yesterday. I was fired up to just chomp on it watching the game, but I opted for just the thinly sliced salami.
Oh,
with
so
the cheese.
did you actually cut it, or was it the pre-cut one?
No, it was a pre-cut.
Did you
one.
see the difference when it's cut?
I know the difference. I just like eating it my way. As a big Slim Jim.
It's not a Slim Jim. It's not a freaking Slim Jim. Stop eating it like that. That's not how you're supposed to consume it.
Hey, big brother.
It ruins it.
Stop. It does not ruin it. I can
Absolutely does ruin it.
It does not ruin it one bit. I could take a small bite. I could take a big bite. I could take a medium bite. I'm biting into this thing, and I'm having a good time. Strong chompers.
You're a menace to society.
At Precious Smiles of Northern Virginia, they say, Sean, we've never seen jaw strength like
This
this.
is the children's dentist that you went to until you were 24.
Do you have a calcium overload, is what they said to me at Precious Smiles, because they said, your teeth are so strong, it's like a horse's teeth. A horse's
You're
tooth.
legitimately a bad human being for doing this. Not because your core personality is evil. You're just like inoperable, incapable of doing normal things, and then you get stuck into this logic that you have to commit to doing it. So now you're just going to forever be
I'm not committed.
A villain.
You should be committed, but I'm not committed to just chomping on it because I had the option.
I think you
last
just
night,
like
and
sticking it in your mouth like that. I think that's what that is.
You know, it's not too bad.
Ron said no problem here. I think that was in relation to him getting referenced in the voicemail. Second voicemail that we have.
Hey, Hacks. It's Danny. Long time, second time here. And, I got a couple of questions for you guys. Primarily, first of all, Sean, if you could torture Joe by putting him in any anime as the main character, what anime you picking? And then, of course, for fairness' sake, Joe, if you had to force Sean to take any college class, any college course, I guess at Rhode Island, he's got to
I have such good answer that I'm not going to say.
Oh,
no, you took that class.
Listen to the voicemail.
Yeah, I got to ask about my cat. How far are we going? Is Davidson making the championship, or are we getting caught in the quarterfinals? I got to know.
What a hack.
All right. So, anyways, take care and go Cats. Bye.
Dan, we know who you are. Terrible bit there at the end. I don't know what Davidson is. Who's paying attention to Davidson right now? No. It's like that's like asking, like, oh, what do you think of what do you think of North Texas right now?
Hey,
like,
you don't sleep on Davidson. They had a tough first week 0 matchup against Georgetown where they lost.
Screw you for looking this up.
And then they beat Catawba, Catawba. Never heard of that school in my life. They put 49 on them.
All right, you answer the first question here.
Okay, and for reference, your question was a class where I would at least need to get a B+ in, where you were speaking over the voicemail.
I heard it.
If I was going to put Joe in an anime, probably My Hero Academia. There's a lot of pervy characters in that show.
Oh,
and
stop it with this. Trying to convince people that I'm some like sick I forget what you said, but you could in the coach question of what coach does Joe compared to, and you picked all of the perverts. Stop doing this. It is destructive.
Well,
Extremely destructive.
If I was gonna put you in it would be My Hero, because a lot of people were dissatisfied with the ending. It was so torturous. It was not a satisfying finish to the show. I feel like if you're in it, a lot of the heroes in the show get their asses kicked. I'm not gonna punish you and send you an Attack on Titan. That's just brutal. I would. No,
this is just going over my head. I don't understand.
I don't think you could handle being in the Jujutsu Kaisen universe. You're not a pirate, no One Piece. You're not ninja like, no Naruto. Yeah, I'd send you in My Hero. Hunter. Yeah, I'm not putting you in Hunter either. Yeah, I'd put you in My Hero.
It's just none of that makes any sense to me. Any class I would put Sean. This is a good question. This is a really good question by Dan. I was gonna think of like something obnoxious, like put you into like chemical engineering, but I don't know the severity of that. I think I could just totally keep this simple. I took calc my freshman year and I got like a 98 in it because I'm actually good at math. I know that Sean would flounder in that. Absolutely would flounder in that. Just see too many just spinning numbers in his head trying to keep up with what's going on there. I would put you in that class.
Calc has the big F little x, right? That's the big
functions.
Yeah,
functions.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
I need to put you into that class. What was the highest level of math that you took in high school? You told me this once.
Oh,
algebra 2?
No. I did algebra 2 in 8th grade.
Okay, what did you take?
I went, I think, trigonometry sophomore year. I tried doing IB math my junior year, and then I was so bad at it, and I worked so hard.
What's IB math?
International Baccalaureate, which was like AP for the non-AP schools. It was just like an IB math class, like pre-calc or something like that. Yeah, I think it was pre-calc. And I was so bad at it that I had to get moved into like the regular students, because I was in like all the IB class. I was in the gifted program in elementary school, all of it. Like school was fine for me. I was a good reader, writer, all that. But math, I was
nothing that you living
down.
With you presents me gifted student. And I don't say that in a joking manner. I say that with as much disdain for you as possible. There is nothing gifted about what you bring to the table.
I was taking like the legit classes to get into college.
You're scrapping to get by to just get through the day without shitting your pants. Nothing about you is gifted. This is why that gifted student program is bullshit, because they just stick whatever kid that their parents complain the most in. My dad didn't complain. He didn't care.
I could tell.
Well, okay, it's not that he didn't care. He expected me to get there on my own. That was more so what I was.
I was getting good grades. I had good grades. I wasn't a flophouse dipshit like you were the first 3 years of high school.
They saw you coloring better than everybody else. They're like, this guy, this kid. You were so much bigger that you were probably 6'2" in 4th grade. And they're like, we got to put him, he's advanced at something. We don't know what.
My 2-part SAT was higher than you.
I didn't take the SAT.
Oh, what'd you take?
I took the ACT.
Oh, yeah, good. Congratulations. Way to be. Well, my weighted SAT was higher than your weighted ACT.
No, it wasn't. What was your SAT score?
I think I had a, what was it? 1310 2-part.
What was the, I remember it was out of 2400 when we took it. What was your full score?
1830.
Okay, I had a 29 on the ACT. That's higher than an 18.
I don't think so.
That it is.
You could say it is.
You're an ass.
You could say
you're
it is.
An ass.
No, I would have problems in calc.
Yeah.
My senior year of high school, it was statistics, which was just get by with easy statistics. And the only math class I took in college was voting math, which was really, it was simply like, how does the math work out in these poll systems?
I'm trying to think of like
I still barely got by.
What class, more from the angle of like, would just be so stupid
I hated
that would
theater.
anger you?
I was.
Oh, that one was like, why did people sign up for that?
Because it was mandatory. You had to take a mandatory arts class to become a well-rounded college student, and I hated
what
theater.
I took.
I was up on the catwalk plugging in wires. I couldn't believe
they put
it.
your big dumb ass to work. They're like, you're not on the front end of this thing. Go start plugging stuff in.
I missed some stage setup one time, and I also had to be in a fucking play with Jeff Horowitz, which was awesome. That sucked.
Oh my god!
And then, but
what did I take for?
I had to do extra credit for theater because I missed a stage setup due to a game. I hated theater.
I like to credit this as the beginning of when I knew I like really wanted to pursue being on air. And I still stand by this take. Back in college, me and Tyler Cruz were on student radio, and we were talking about how the athletic departments needed. It was right after Dan Hurley left, and I said that we needed more funding for the athletic department, the basketball team, because we were developing a good program, but not getting to the final level of where we needed to. We needed to keep a Dan Hurley, and that wasn't going to happen because we were competing with UConn. And I said on the air on this student radio show that we should cut the fine arts program, and the people didn't call in on student radio. And the amount of phone calls that flooded in the minute that I said that was insane. Somebody called in and started bitching out Tyler Cruz, who was just standing there like, I don't know why you're yelling at me. I wasn't the one who said it. I still stand by that take. I think that liberal fine arts is probably one of the bigger wastes of money that go to a fine arts specific school. Nobody's coming out of the URI fine arts department to go on to become a Broadway performer or to go become a professional actor or actress. They're not. You know what they're doing? They're just becoming professors of fine arts or theater, or they're going and teaching it to young groups. Go to an actual school that's designed for that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Waste of
opposed
money.
to just saying cut the fine arts. As someone who at times doesn't mind the fine arts, I think that Rhode Island should have taken some funding from the communications program, actually. I think that there are way too many classes, way too many professors.
I
in
hate
that
those like
department.
the interpersonal communications. Like that's a waste of time.
It was
more
a waste.
applicable.
One of the professors actually opened up freshman year in like Com 100, talk about, why do you need communications? I married a belly dancer. And I look at me. I'm okay. So you got Riz? What am I sitting here learning about? What are you telling me? And I think a lot of the communication stuff could have been. We could have stripped some of the fat off of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, credit to you. I find it very. I know we haven't answered any of these questions yet, but I find it very funny that suddenly the University of Rhode Island was a bottom feeder for the longest time, and now suddenly they're the #1 public school in New England, and they were ranked as a top 15 public state university. That was not the case when we were there. I was showing up to classes, and professors had no idea what was going on. You got kids that are still drunk and didn't show up half the time. Where was this when we were there 4 years ago?
Hey, we had to help put the groundwork in, help build the sports media program.
We literally were consultants on developing the media program.
20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, and nobody else had a clue. What do we want? Well, let's just keep on getting more theory of sports and politics instead of actual technical skills.
All right, let's get to some of these questions. Jamie's, wow, we got a good amount today. Some of these we're not answering. Chester's first question, I am not asking. You guys need to stop tagging the person that you're tagging. You are being weird.
It's a fine question.
No, it is weird. That's somebody I have a professional relationship with and have had a professional relationship with, and they're being weird. Talk about
I'd say they're being weird, but we could. Oh, they'd be in a different section of the areas.
Yeah. The spectrum of perviness, they're at a 9. Sometimes. I love you guys, but holy crap.
Well, we could just. All right. Go on.
By the Rack says a website with hub at the end is the only art I can enjoy. Rack immediately knew who I was talking about. Knew exactly who I was talking about. Jamie, would you rather spend a whole weekend with Rack of all good timing here? I didn't even know that was the first question. And have to say yes to everything he proposes, or get hit with no pads by prime Steve Atwater 20 times? No, to the second part. Absolutely not. I think that it's kind of one of those experiences where a guy like Rack, we all have a friend like similar to Rack that we don't really hang out with or talk to that much anymore. But if you're ever like needing hey, I need to just get away from reality and be
stupid.
Just be adult for a whole day. I would totally do that. I think it would unlock something in me if I did that.
I would. You know what? I think spending a day with Rack and saying yes to everything, it would help you. I'm not doing it. I would get hit with no pads by prime Steve Atwater 20 times happily. I just watched Requiem from a Dream. I am not No, I'm not doing anything The Rack does. It's the best anti-drug PSA of all time.
Is that the Jim Carrey? No.
No. That's Spotless Mind that I was talking about. No. Requiem for a Dream was young Jared Leto. Young, strung out, handsome Jared Leto. And Jennifer Connelly playing an addict very convincingly. It was a rough watch. So I am not saying yes to anything right now until I shake that movie off of me. Give me Atwater.
Jamie's second question: after 2 games, which FCS team has had the biggest surprise in a positive way, and which in a negative way? Most positive has been North Dakota.
That was mine.
The way that they played against Iowa State. They had a really good game against Iowa State, and then they upset Montana.
Negative, I had Furman.
Furman's late in. Yeah, that's an easy one.
And not because I'm not going to chalk up the Ole Miss game, but losing to Charleston Southern is like, look, you just can't do that, Furman. You're better than that, Furman. Don't do that again, please. So far, after 2 games, Furman's my biggest negative surprise.
At Chevy Chester asks, what did you want to be growing up? I wanted and still want to be a bounty hunter because of the dog. What's this?
Dog the Bounty Hunter, who has had some problems in his personal life.
Man, I don't think I always knew. In high school was kind of when I made the determination, hey, I want to be forward-facing on-air talent. God, I'm trying to think.
What I want to be a football player. I wanted to be a baseball player. It was sports.
That's a kind of a given.
Yeah, that's all. That's all my mind was. It was. And at times, growing up, because I had 2 very smart parents and, a lot of engineers in my family, I'm saying, if I don't get it, I remember saying, if I don't get an athletic scholarship, I can always get an academic one. I can always get an engineering. I can always go to engineering school or something like that. Nope. And that changed up quick. It was always going to be football player, baseball player. I did not want to be a fireman.
Fireman. God, that's such an easy.
Didn't want to be.
I'm glad I wasn't one of those dumbass kids that was like, I want to be a fireman. No creativity. Absolutely. Talk about being unoriginal. Your kid's spouting that. He's got no creative thinking for him. I think that the one that popped in my head though was for the longest time I wanted to be like a director. Like I wanted to, which is ironic because I don't watch any movies anymore. I used to watch a lot of movies when I was growing up.
You know what? I did not know that about you. Given how dispassionate you are about any type of film.
It's not that I'm dispassionate. I'm just so brain rotted and impatient that I don't like sitting through 2-hour-plus movies.
I can cook you up some nice hour and 20-minute film if you want. Oh, yeah, sure.
Pass. Why? Brendan asks, what's harder to watch? Notre Dame lose to NIU, the Giants being the Giant. Brendan, what the F, man? Or Sean try to spit game at the bar. I haven't seen Sean try to spit game at the bar yet, so...
That's the worst. I've tried to spit game.
I watched him last weekend. I watched some girl just completely berate him, which was hilarious. This girl, Sean's friend was talking to her, and then we ended up started talking to her. And every time Sean spoke, she was like, the more you talk shit, the more that I hate you. She kept saying that over and over. She just berated you.
She was drunk,
out of the conversation. She was drunk. That had to have been that was really depressing to watch.
Yeah, that's really no depressing. Fun. Struck out a couple times when I was in the city for the birthday with the club section. I was, trying to holler. Nothing. There was no.
Why can I picture you from a distance going, hey! Hey! I don't know. That's why I don't like using holler. I don't like using holler. You were just yelling from a distance, and then they were like. Guys on our team used to do that in the dining hall, and it was so lame.
Hey, yo!
And then when they would turn around, they'd be like, oh, yo, she looked over here. And it's like, none of you have any balls to, like, actually have a conversation. I remember one time they instigated me into doing that, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. So one of them yelled, and I think it was Anthony Christian who did this.
Of course.
One of them yelled and then goes like, yo, it was him who said it and pointed at me. And I'm like, dude. I'm not like you. I'm not a Neanderthal. I'm not trying to.
Oh, come on. Why is Anthony catching this?
Because just shouting in the direction of a woman is not how you actually. That has never worked. I would love to know the actual success rate. It has never worked.
Yeah, my shouting or anything has never worked. Yeah, spitting game for me is the hardest.
I'm gonna pick that.
I'd actually say watching the Giants being the Giants is tough because they're professional athletes.
I don't think this question was for you.
And then
I don't think this question was for you.
I had a great time watching Notre Dame lose to NIU.
Yeah,
Welcome
asshole.
to the fucking boneyard.
Rax, next question. Imagine you are the athletic director at Idaho. Give me your best pitch on why we should go to the Mountain West. Do your research and sell it, boys. Well, I didn't do any research because this is the first time I'm reading this question.
I did research.
You have a unique on-field, in-game experience for fans. It is a wildly regarded and highly appreciated for real college football fans, the uniqueness of their situation. And you already have an established rivalry with Boise State, who is an FBS team. The only thing that's tough to sell is you already tried this once and failed. That's the only tough selling point.
Here's what I'd say. University of Idaho has an enrollment about 12 grand. Boston College has 14,000 and they're in the ACC. That's a P4. We're looking at a G5 here, so we got to be real. 12 grand, 12,000 people is good enough for you. Kibbe Dome holds 15,000 plus. And it is one of the most lauded stadiums in all of sports right now. Additionally, what's the academics like? How's the school at University of Idaho? Oh, I'll tell you, Mr. Mountain West. University of Idaho is the best value public school in the West. A U.S. News and World Report ranking it earned in 2021, 2022, 2023, and again in 2024. The best value rankings compare overall quality of the institution related to its price and any need-based aid or discounts given. The only public school ranked higher on the national list is North Carolina Chapel Hill. I'd say that's a pretty good program. U of I ranks in the top 6% of all public universities on the top public school list. There's a lot going for Idaho. We can help the Mountain West. We can be a legit help in football and academics. Don't look at our graduation rate, though. It's not that great.
Ron says, "Doze the Kibbe Dome." Put more respect on the Kibbe Dome, man. That's some BS. All right, Rack. Next question. I'm not going to answer this one. You can. If you had to date an adult film star, who would you choose?
Oh, okay. I'd probably go.
Oh my God, Chester's next question.
What do I want to add? I don't know. I'm going to sound like a caveman no matter how I'd say it. I'm not going with a MILF. I'd probably go with somebody in my age range, I think. I have not researched this. Probably like an Autumn Falls, I think. I think I could pull. That's probably who I'd go with.
Okay.
Big Knox. Nice ad. Yeah.
Well, you didn't have to get that descriptive.
That's where I go. I think that was pretty even-keeled.
Chevy Chester wants to know, do you grunt like Shannon Sharp? You. Not me.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to know if you do.
I'm panting in there in my festivals.
Shannon Sharp had more of like an efforting grunt. Like he was putting in some work. I don't think that you've got that. You definitely you have a I'm gasping for air trying to catch my breath.
If it's a multiple round night, the first round it's going to be quick and disappointing. It's not going to be good. I'm not going to be very confident. Round 2, that's where you're getting what you need, and I'm going to give it my all. And if there is a round 3, which doubters there has been, that's when I'm calling for coach to take me out the game. I need a water break. One time, I remember being on the end of my bed after the final, knees down, head tilted back to the ceiling, just trying to catch some air. Trying not to sweat all over my sheets.
Get laps run on you.
Yeah. Good night.
Did not need that much detail. Next question we have from Brendan. I would like both of you to impersonate your co-host hitting on a woman at a bar.
Oh, I can do that. Hey, look at my friend. How tall is he? He's got.
That's a great bit.
He's got big feet, but his dick is real small, so that's gonna hurt you. You still want to hang out with us? I just gave you way too much information.
Well,
I'm Joe, by the way.
What was really
Have
funny,
you heard of the show Ruffino and Joe?
What was really funny last week is Sean's buddy from back home that we were out with in the city randomly introduces him to this girl and goes, being really obnoxious. Like, oh, he's got a huge dong.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously I'm going to provide the context
you were
that I have.
chomping at the bit.
And I said, I showered with him. I used to shower with him. It's true. I can
Worst bit of all time. It's up to me.
Stand by the fact that there's proof.
It's up to me to disappoint them with the size 17 shoe equation there. All right, it's not up to you. That's poor wingman material.
That's great. Also,
You were
going
for the laugh.
By the way, if you had any sense of, if you were willing to play into the bit, the whole "how tall do you think my friend is" thing, if you laughed it up and had fun with it, that is such easy 2-man conversation.
I'm not a circus animal.
Stop taking it so personally.
Hey, why don't you just nail some spikes through my feet and have me ride on a tiny little bicycle?
In college, the amount of times that girls would just come up to you and go,
That was
"How tall
college.
are you?" Most girls, all they look for is over 6'4". Some of them.
That's nice.
Don't put past a lot of your other issues. There's a lot of them for the fact that you're 6'6". So if you play into that and just let me set it up, it opens a conversation. If 2 girls are sitting there and you set up that conversation, obviously I'm not trying this now because I'm in a relationship, but if back when we were single, when you wouldn't let me do this and you kept getting all bent out of shape,
I just didn't see the success rate come from
no,
it.
because the problem was I would do it and then you would just be so pissy and mad. No girl wants to have a conversation with the guy just like, "Oh, bro, like, why are you doing this?" Like, if you were laughing about it, if you were like, "I bet you can't guess. I bet you a drink that you can't guess." Like, if you played into it more and laughed through it and looked like the whole point is to show that we're having fun and we dick around and ask stupid questions. That's what most girls want when you're out.
Yeah, I gotcha. And I think that like sports bar talk, "Hey, are you a fan of the team?" All that stuff, that works, that plays. Not, "Hey, well, I got a bet going with my buddy. It says you're not a C cup." You know, that is bad. That's bad form.
That's gross to do that. That's gross. Nobody's saying to do that.
I'm not doing "I got a bet with my buddy" lines anymore.
It's not "I got a bet with my buddy" line. It's "how tall do you think he is?" And then you let them guess, and then you go, "No, that's wrong. If you get it right on this try, I'll buy you a drink." And then you have a conversation that's been started. Show that you're having fun instead of being all pissy and moany. But now we can't try this.
Pissy and moany one time.
Yeah, when we were in South Dakota was when we tried this the one time, and then it immediately got shut down.
I was talking to women. They like the big fella walking around.
The first time we were there, no.
Oh, the first time was rough. The first time was a little bit different.
If I were to impersonate you, "Where's the nearest chair? I need to sit down. Where's the nearest chair? Stop talking to me. Where's the nearest chair?" That's probably what my impersonation of.
You know, I like to find a seat at the house party.
Yeah.
House parties, yes. That's a fine impression, actually.
All right, wait, what did he? Joe wore. Okay, there's so many here. Wait, Joe wore. I'm trying to get through. Why the almost Joe Swanson voice? Maybe I should try that. Maybe never mind. Joe wore a bathing suit in the shower, so no one knows what he's packing. That's not true. You got to own that. They'll think that you might be. Yeah, you need to stop being so coy when your boys try to set you up. Joe is salty because he is small. I wear a size 11, and that's not that small. Don't hate on me.
Are you sure?
You're as smooth as a washboard.
These shoes right
gravel
here,
road.
These shoes right here say size 9.
Brendan, is that those do not say size 9? Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
I have this shoe right now.
I have big feet for my height. Don't you dare air me out like that.
Jesus. What's wrong? This is an 8.5.
Oh, fuck you. Give me the shoe. Give me the shoe.
I don't want
Read the fucking shoe. Don't you dare do this to me.
EU 34, UK M 7.5, US M 8.5.
No, give me the goddamn shoe.
I don't want
hand me the shoe.
No,
hand me the fucking
I'm not
shoe.
giving up this shoe.
Hand me the fucking shoe. I wear an 11 and some shoes a 10.5. Some I wear.
Oh, so now there's a 10.5 slipping in.
There's only a couple that I wear it for that. Some of the I've got an Armani shoe.
New ones.
Yeah, I've
Just
destroyed
worn down
those.
to hell.
Hey dudes are great. All right, last question that we have from Rack. Can you make a list of things at Rise and Draft has to do to get expelled from Rack City? I think the better way of phrasing this, I think what Rack means is, what can Ryan do to free himself from the chat? Because he keeps trying to leave. If Ryan shotguns a beer and posts it to Twitter, we'll let him leave.
Oh, I think he would do that today.
I don't think he would.
Well, I'm a big, strong whiskey man. Ryan Roberts, I think, needs to take a big.
That
pull
was
out
him
of
in
the fifth.
Indianapolis the whole time, so that is true.
I don't know what Ryan would have to do. I don't want him to ever leave. I like having Ryan.
Yeah, I
in
like
the
having
chat.
Ryan in the chat.
Feels like there's an adult in the room that I like when Ryan comes back in. And
Blake's
says,
not the adult in the room, that's for sure.
yeah, I like Blake mixing it up is fun with these maniacs. But no, Ryan, I think you're in it for life, brother. Sorry about it. If we have phone numbers exchanged between us, you will be in that chat. I know you want to leave. You can't. I'm not adding you back in. It's not me that is pulling you back in. Somebody has your notifications on when you're dipping out.
There's no escaping. At Joe DeLeone.
Hey, I got one more thing.
Oh! Sean's shout of the weekend. What do you got?
Goodness gracious. Every week on Fridays, I'm going to give you what you should eat, what you should drink, what you should watch. Let's get it kicked off. Joe, I know you're a little disappointed last week with your Italian sandwich. I consider it a skill issue.
They gave me I ordered a prosciutto and mozzarella sandwich, and they gave me capicola, which capicola mixed with sopressata and some prosciutto is great. But these idiots just shoved as much capicola. It's bologna. It's a form of bologna. It's not good when it's just capicola. So I had to take the capicola off because it was just.
I'm going to chalk it to a skill issue. I'm going to simple it up for you for the food.
Don't you skill issue me.
I'm going to simple F in the chat, touch grass. This weekend, what you're going to do, get a hot dog. I had one at the Yankees game, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it.
Take it out of the bun. Put it in your mouth. Let it sit in your mouth for a few minutes.
Okay, that's a Joe shot. Regardless. Be the most inconvenient way to eat a hot dog of all time is just have it rest in your mouth. Trying to
rest in your mouth, take small bites, make a lot of eye contact with people.
You really want to gum it. You don't want to get any teeth on it. Get a hot dog this weekend. Look, trying to recreate a shout from earlier in the week is tough. It's a dangerous game, but it's going to be worth it. The hot dog was so good at the game. If you're going to a game, your mind should just be hot dog, hot dog, hot dog. Nothing else. Don't do game burgers.
That's what Sean's mind is all the time. Hot dog, hot dog, hot dog.
I'm going to be searching a hot dog out this weekend like a bloodhound. Maybe I'll go to Five Guys. I know they do a dog. I'm not in love with their dog, but it's on my mind.
Why don't you buy a pack and go use the grill that we have outside?
That's different. I know because I don't want to have to be the one executing my perfect hot dog, finding one naturally in the wild.
I'm great.
I know how to make a hot dog, brother. You zip it over there. I'm King Hot Dog. What you're drinking this weekend?
King Cuck.
This is likely the last weekend of true warm weather. I know in our area, it's the last time it's going to hit the 80s on the highs, and then next week it's all going to be mid-70s. It's lovely weather, but still, you're not going to have this kind of real summer high heat weather. This is when you break out the last spiked teas, twisted teas, low carbonated alcoholic beverages.
For Loco!
For Loco! This is the weekend. If you want to do something sugary and strong, this is when you do it. Close out the true warm. It's going to be a real dirtbag weekend incoming. Media. Obviously, we got the football. The football is going to be great. But for your Saturday night drunk watch, this is my pitch. I'm going to recommend that coming off of a bunch of twisted teas, you're not going to be fit for a movie. You're not going to be able to track a TV show. Trust me, I've tried to do it. In my worst games in MLB The Show were off of a bunch of twisted teas where I was almost getting no hit. It happens.
Those super hammered games of MLB The Show are so funny because you wake up the next day and you're like, why did my batting average go down like a whole... I played the Road to the Show, not the Dynasty mode, but like, why did it go from 450 to 350? Like, what did I do last night?
Your brain's not going to be there, even though you're going to have high energy. I recommend you chill out with like a little Business Insider So Expensive series. My latest recommendation from that series, the Kanzuri chili paste. It's awesome. They're snow bleaching the chili peppers. Check it out. But you can just flip around. There's a bunch of stuff with the interests. I know you got different interests. So take a nice little 15-minute mini documentary. Maybe learn something. Maybe just have time because they do good imagery in it also. Sunday, you're going to feel like absolute garbage.
Sunday!
You drank a bunch of boxed wine or you're all sugared up. It's the worst hangover that you've had so far the football season. So you need to have...
Hit yourself over the head with a brick and then just tap out for the rest of the day. Wake up the next day.
That'd be nice. I'm assuming you all have a bunch of lives, so you can't really just wake up and roll out of bed at 1 p.m. and watch the NFL games. I'm going with I think you should go with something easy, you don't need to follow it, but you can phase in and out. Animated. We're going with 2011 Rango animated comedy. with Johnny
Rango?
Depp voicing a lizard
Rango?
in a good Western. This is
Oh!
what you want to do. You don't want a good movie here, Joe. You want
Sean's
an
the
easy
least
movie.
ball-knowing. Oh, my God.
Rango's a good film, and I'll stand
Rango?
by it. And I've got people in my cinematic circle that stand by it as well.
Pitch B movie while you're at it.
A B movie could be a good one also.
Oh!
You want something that's kind of cheesy animated. Just let the colors wash over me. The nice, easy voice acting, just wash it right over me. And I could just be, maybe I'll lull back to sleep for a nice little death nap, wake up, check my fantasy team, set a bet, look at the game a little more. Of course it's great, Brendan. You know why? Because I'm a ball knower. Rango is a great film.
Sit in your room in the dark if you're going to watch Rango.
Yeah, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to kind of be phasing in and out. Oh, Rango's going to go. Now he's the sheriff. Who's this big bad snake? Oh, this is going to be it's going to be a good Sunday recovery watch.
All right, my shout of the week. I got one here. We're gonna my shout of the week is gonna be the same thing every week, and it's what I'm doing today. Friday night, what we're doing is we're getting a steak from your local grocery store, the biggest one that you can find that they have. Anything that's over 20 ounces, 16 to 20 ounces, we're throwing that bitch on the stove. We're buttering it up. We're basting the shit out of it. We're cooking it medium rare. And then we're also going to make some mac and cheese on the side. We're going to hammer that around 5 o'clock. You're going to digest a little bit. Go walk around. You're going to go out with your boys. You're going to drink tequila sodas all night to keep the calories low. Maybe you have a beer in there. And you're going to go to bed feeling well rested. You're going to wake up feeling well rested. And all you're watching this weekend is football! At Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio. And also, by the way, I'm not cutting the hair, Blake. I like the long hair. At Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio, at Hack City Pod. We'll talk to you folks later.